an international publisher helping people transform their lives through books, audios, and gifts that inform, enlighten, and inspire. On the web at www.cakehouse.com.
The universe is an abundant place, and oftentimes the only thing between us and the abundance that we desire is us.
Let best-selling author Cheryl Richardson show you the path to a greater abundance of time, prosperity, energy, and passion.
And I have a very simple solution about how to create more financial abundance in your life, so pay attention.
Learn the true nature of abundance and how it can transform your life when Create an Abundant Life with Cheryl Richardson airs next.
Abundance is your birthright. And I know that the amount of abundance available to each and every one of you is limitless.
Cheryl Richardson, America's most sought-after life coach, is a New York Times best-selling author and lecturer, a master certified coach, and first president of the International Coach Federation. Cheryl has transformed the lives of millions of people around the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I am excited to talk about creating an abundant life, because most of us want abundance in one area or another of our lives. Usually, the place I hear about first is money. Most people want an abundance of money, right? Some people? Yes. Everybody yes. Well, I want to start out by talking about why it's important to have abundance in a whole variety of areas in your life. Now, over the last 10 years, I've had the good fortune of working as a personal coach. And what that means is I've worked with clients all around the country over the phone, helping them to design the lives they most want to live, to really look at the areas of their life where they most want to create abundance, create a plan of action to make it happen, and then support them along the way as they're making it happen. And I've learned a lot about what it takes to create abundance. I've learned a lot about what gets in people's way when they attempt to create abundance in their lives, and I want to help those of you in this room and those of you at home overcome some of the obstacles that might get in your way when it comes to creating abundance. So, first thing I want you all to know is this. An abundant life, a truly secure life, is a life where you have an abundance of love, community, an abundance of time. Wouldn't we all love more time? Right? An abundance of space. Space around you. Do you ever feel like your life is closing in on you, that you just don't have enough space? An abundance of space is another important piece to living an abundant life. Also, having an abundance of money is absolutely part of creating that security. And there's also things like having an abundance of resourcefulness. You know, one of the things we don't think about when we think in terms of creating abundance is we forget about our own inner skills, our sense of resourcefulness, our ability to make things happen. Actually, that's the first thing we forget about, especially when we get scared. But I guarantee you there are people here and people at home who, if you suddenly lost your job, would know exactly what you needed to do to go out and get another one. Or if you suddenly had your house burned down, you'd deal with the pain of that, but you'd also be able to pick yourself up and do something about it. So being resourceful, being able to move over obstacles in your life is also another way of having abundance in your life. During the show today, I want to focus in on four main areas. And that is creating an abundance of time, because that's a big one for a lot of people, and never have enough time. That's what I hear a lot. Creating an abundance of money, because we all would like to have more money, I'm sure. Creating an abundance of energy, because the truth is the human body needs energy in order to live. And if you don't have energy, you can't enjoy your time, you certainly can't spend your money, right? And the fourth one is an abundance of passion. Joy, being engaged in something that you feel passionate about in your life. So before we move to those four areas, I wanted to say a few things about creating an abundant life. Here's a couple things you need to know. In order to create a life of abundance, you must start with a grateful heart. A grateful heart heart is like a magnet. It will draw toward it those things that create the gratitude in the first place. You know, we've all heard that a lot. You know, be grateful, count your blessings, think abundantly. It's at the times where we feel the least abundant that we really need to stop and look at what we have to be grateful for. I remember one time I was vacationing with my husband, and I was having a really bad time. You know, it's one of those weeks where you think, oh, I would like to just shut this week off, go to bed, wake up at the end of the week. And I remember my husband, Michael, said to me, Cheryl, I know you're having a bad time. Do me a favor, answer this question. What's really great about your life? I said, well, okay. And I started listing things off. I have a great marriage. I have my health. I have a huge family, and we all get along, and we have a great time together. I'm doing work that I love. I mean, by the time I got to, like, item number 20, I thought, what am I complaining about? It's so easy to forget the things that we have to be grateful for. So a grateful heart will act like a magnet. It will bring abundance into your life. The second thing we need is a strong belief, both in ourselves and a belief that there is a universal power that wants only abundance for all of us. And I deeply know that to be true. The universe is an abundant place. And oftentimes the only thing between us and the abundance that we desire is us. And so we need to develop a strong belief in our ability to create abundance in our lives and a strong knowing that the universe is an abundant place. Now, belief isn't enough. You know, you remember the days where, I remember when I had $500 in the bank and my rent was $650. And I was really scared. I remember it vividly. I could tell you where I was standing. I could tell you what it was like outside. I remember being really frightened about that. And in that moment, I thought, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to pay there's no way I'm going to be able to pay my rent. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm not buying into this fear that there's no abundance. And I sat down and I wrote out a check for $5 to a charity. And when I did that, and when I put it into the envelope, I remember I said out loud, because I say a lot of things out loud, I think it gives our thoughts power. I said, I will not buy into the belief that the universe is filled with scarcity. I won't do it. And I ripped the envelope, put a stamp on it, went to a mailbox, put it in, and said, that's my statement, that the universe is an abundant place. 3 days later, I was called and hired to give my first big paid speech for $1,500. 3 days later. And I remember, you know, answering the phone and thinking, oh my God. Of course, I went and immediately wrote another check out to a charity because I wanted to say thank you. But you know, here's the thing. At that time when I was scared, people used to say to me, oh, Cheryl, you just need to think abundantly. You need to think abundantly. If you could just create an affirmation, then you'll be able to draw money into your life. Don't worry about it. Well, that sounds great. And I'm a big believer in affirmations because your beliefs are extremely important. But the third thing you need to know about creating abundance is you must marry belief with action. It wasn't that I wrote that check out for $5 and then magically what appeared was a $1,500 speaking engagement. I was actively involved in marketing my business, making phone calls, doing the things that I definitely didn't want to do, going out and getting a job. I remember I finally decided, you know what? This isn't happening as quickly as I need it to be happening. I have to be financially responsible. I went out and applied for a job. When you combine the affirmation that the universe is an abundant place or that I have what it takes to create abundance in my life with action, that's when miracles begin to occur. So the 4 areas we're going to focus on in this program are time, energy, money, and passion. And I thought what we'd do is something a little different. I've lined up some volunteers before the program who feel blocked in some way about creating abundance in one of those areas. And what I've learned over time after working with thousands of people is that, you know, we all get stuck in the same places at one point or another. We all want the same kinds of things and we all get stuck in the same ways. And so there's tremendous opportunity for us to learn from one another by hearing other people's stories or other people's challenges. So I want to start with time. And I'm going to ask for somebody that I spoke to earlier to just raise their hand as a volunteer, and let's just see what happens. So who'd like to go first? Yes. Okay, great. Let me grab a little microphone here. Good. So can you just say your first name so everyone can meet you?
Robert.
Robert. Say hi to Robert. There. Can you stand up, Robert, please? Thank you. And just stand here right with me, and you can just face everyone. And everybody smile at Robert. That's great. Good, good, good. Yes, because he needs that. I know. So, Robert, tell me, where are you feeling stuck around time? Just give me like a one-line example.
I feel like I'm trying to live 3 lives at the same time.
Okay, what are they?
I have 2 careers I'm pursuing, and I've got my family life and love of my 4-year-old daughter.
Uống ít canh từ nắng ạ.
My 2
Lúc cây nó cải nó chỉ mua cái uống ít không?
for my time with her
Quên
and
đi đâu
other
chứ.
members of my family.
Okay. Do you want to say what
Sao uống ít thôi, bố con ra nửa bát thôi.
A new lawyer. Went had the midlife.
Cái này luộc rau cải này mua trái mua này thì cho ít sữa thôi bỏ nước
But I
này.
retained my day
Nước thì
job
uống ra nửa bát thôi.
because I like my day job.
So when you say you're living 3 lives,
Uống nước
essentially
chưa?
you are. You're saying, I'm working full-time, I have a part-time job,
Yes.
you're doing your own law on the
Yes,
side,
on my own.
and you want to be there for your family.
Right.
Okay? Sounds like 3 lives to me, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Okay. I know, look at that face. Yeah, what's that face about?
Tension, anxiety.
Sure. Okay. So, all right, I have one statement that I often make to clients like this. This is important. Sometimes what we have to remember, when we feel overwhelmed and we feel as though we don't have enough time, the first place we tend to go to is, I've got to get more organized. I need to learn to manage my time better. I need to be able to put, do you know what I mean? Have you gone there before?
I'm there now.
Okay, great, good.
In 7 minutes, I've got to do this.
Yes, exactly, exactly. We try and get very, very organized with our time. But here's what happens. What I'd like to say to you is what I'd like to say to anyone out there who feels like you're trying to juggle a whole bunch of things at once. You can't make sanity out of an insane situation. Just breathe. Thank you. Thank you. Breathing's a good thing during this. Yes. Sometimes our lives are too hectic. And the object of the game is not necessarily to try and fit all the food on the plate into the right little spot so that you can see the meal. Sometimes the answer is to clear the plate a bit. I don't know yet with you. Just keep breathing. Yes. Here's a really important line. And you all want to write this down, and if someone could write this down for him as well, that'd be great. A high-quality life has a lot more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. I'll say that again. A high-quality life has much more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. So when someone is stressed and overwhelmed, if you looked at the 3 priorities, what's priority number 1 out of those 3 lives?
Family, Allie.
Okay, great. What's number 2?
Being myself, which is being a lawyer.
Okay. On your own, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Great. So
Well,
are you
we're
working
not
toward
amazing.
that?
Yes, I'd say I am.
Okay. And what's your time frame?
Don't have one identified.
Bingo. Okay. Next thing we want to look at is if somebody is not willing to let go of something on their plate, or it's not the appropriate time, because God knows for years the way that people started businesses was on the side as they were working full time, right? That's actually a smart and fairly responsible way to do it. What you might need in order to begin to feel a sense of sanity is a plan. 2 things, actually. I'm going to just throw this out to you intuitively. I'm not sure, but I just have this sense. Tell me if I'm right. Both a plan, a transition plan over time, because sometimes when you know where you're headed, it makes the present day more bearable. Do you know what I mean? Second thing is, you might need to change the way you work. Let me just ask you a question off the top of my head. And be honest with me, okay? How many times do you check voicemail or email during the day? How frequently do you do that?
8 to 10 times.
Okay, good. And how many times do you ever, like, shut your door in your office and just let yourself?
I find places to, yes, get quiet and focus.
Do you do that every day?
No.
Okay, all right. Because here's what happens. Sometimes what we can do is we actually can create more time. Here's a few ways we can create more time. As a matter of fact, I'll let you sit down so you can write these down, okay? Here's some of the ways that we sometimes create more time. If you look at what's going on in your life, one of the first things I look at is how often are people engaged with technology? Because nowadays what I find is that people spend a lot of time checking voicemail, checking email, answering the door, dealing with interruptions. And every time you do that, it's like your brain has to reset and prepare you for what it was you were doing before. That takes time and energy. Or sometimes I'll work with people who are watching lots and lots of television. And I'll put them on a television fast just for 1 week. I'll say to them, no television for 1 week. And they'll come back at the end of the week and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe the amount of time I had. Same thing with surfing the internet. Lots of people will just, sit in front of the computer, clicking their mouse, surfing the internet. It's another time waster. It's another way that we waste time. In a situation like this, I would look at, do I have boundaries around my work? Do I come in at 9 and leave at 6? And do I make that promise and keep it? Do I take lunch every day? Make it a commitment. It's your self-care. Do I schedule time every single day, uninterrupted time, where I shut the door and I let everybody know in my staff, I'm not ignoring you, I just need to make time to focus, and I want you to know that every day for a certain period of time, I'm going to shut the door, and then I'll open it up, at the end of 2 hours or whatever, so that you can focus in. And by the way, when you're going to do things like that, what it means is you have to shut the ringer off on the phone. You have to put a little black piece of tape over the light if you've got one of those lights that says you have voicemail. Yes, you know what I mean. And please, people, please shut that little beep, beep, beep on the computer that tells you you have an email coming in. Please. I mean, all of these are the kinds of things that will rob us from time. And this is your life. Your life is at stake. And I know that sounds dramatic. It sounds dramatic for a reason. Your family is your number one priority. The